Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojopahmaria Nsoroma. And June is the second of 3 water months in this historic and transformative year of the 2020 transit. And June opens a portal all the way for emotional cleansing and reconciliation. In the wake of the horrific murder of George Floyd, and to which there's both national and global unification response, this is a month to feel and heal. My theme for June is clean up, transform pain, transferred pain, meaning the pain that has been transferred to you in your lifetime, during your life. So, through 4 broadcasts and accompanying videos, I provide psycho-spiritual insights and guidance for recognizing, accepting, and cleaning up your pain, continuing tonight with pain from adulthood. Yes, which is basically through relationships where we encounter or engage with what we believe are authority figures. Yeah. But first, just a reminder, when I am broadcasting live, you can listen through this phone number. It is area code 563-999-3089. Again, that's 563-999-3089. I will upload a video of this broadcast on Tuesday to my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self-Mastery. Now, you can ask questions or leave comments on my Facebook page, which is Wisdom Walk Radio, or on my website, which is www.wisdomwalk2selfmastery.com. And you can leave comments or ask questions in the comments box below this video. And for those of you who may not be familiar enough with YouTube, just know that they changed out where the comments, how you find the comments. It's kind of like right under where you're watching the video, and there's a little up and down arrows. And if you click on that, it'll drop down the comments box. But for right now, I ask and invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape, where you can connect to your soul and discover the true treasure of being human. Well, it is my great pleasure to be here with you on this very, very hugely energetic spiritual day of June 21st. We have basically a triple header going on, because not only is it Father's Day here in the United States, but it's also the day that we've had the summer solstice complete itself, and amazing what they call annular solar eclipse. And so I am going to give you some information definitely about that eclipse. But I want to start off, as I do every week, of course, by honoring the ancestors. And it being Father's Day, yep, we're calling in all the father ancestors. So take a moment right now and think about your father ancestors. Father, grandfather, great-grandfather. For some of you, you would know your great-great-great-grandfather. Or people in your life who were like fathers to you. And think about those persons, call out their names. I'm thinking about my own father, who I did not grow up with, but I did get a chance to connect with and reconcile with before he passed over, before he died. And I was very fortunate to have some wonderful uncles in my life. And most importantly, my grandfather, who was there for me as I was growing up. And a wonderful, wonderful ancestor guide he continues to be. His name is Frank Brown, so definitely calling out to him. And Ralph Matthews, my father. So join me as I these ancestors, because we could use some loving male energy on this planet right now, definitely. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you for your blessing, your mercy in our lives, and for yet another opportunity to reach out to those wonderful emissaries of yours, the ancestors. And this being Father's Day, we are calling out to all the ancestor fathers, and we want you to know that we are so open to your love, your guidance, your wisdom in regards to the love and the caretaking that we know, especially being in the land of the ancestors, you know how to do. For truly on this planet, we need to have hearts softened. And so we come and we asked you to come and soften the hearts of all the males on this planet. Remind them that their true job in holding the masculine energy, the sacred masculine energy, is to be caretakers, to be those who watch over, those who provide support in a loving, open, selfless, non-egoic manner. And so come and help us, especially at this time in which we're moving through really confronting the violence that it is being done mostly by men on this planet. And so again, Creator, thank you for the gift of the ancestors and the father ancestors. And we ask and thank you for this in the name of all that is holy. I say amen. Ashe Ahoasa, Shinga Bismillah, and so it is. Ashe, Ashe. And speaking of ancestors, today happens to mark the 19th anniversary of my mother's death, and I was very privileged to be able to actually be there and bear witness to that along with my sister Cheryl. And so I can feel Dolores Matthews around me all day, and I just wanted to acknowledge her presence and her spirit as I'm paying tribute to the ancestors. Our elemental wisdom for the week, because currently we're in a fire week that started on Wednesday the 17th, will go to the 23rd. And so on the 24th, we're entering into a mineral week, and that'll go into the last day of June. Very, very interesting. So here's the opportunity. Remember purpose. Yes. It's about allowing the power of love to remind you of whom you truly are, what you really want to do, have, and be in your life, especially now. It's about following your heart and soul and taking the necessary risk to experience your true power and uniqueness. So important in the time that we're living in. It's almost like the universe is really asking us to really be clear and to have a deep understanding that we are all here for a purpose, that we're not just plopped down and, let me survive and let me figure it out. No, we really are here for purpose. So here's some distractions to that you want to pay attention to coming up this Wednesday through the following Tuesday to the end of the month. Choosing to stay in confusion, because confusion is a choice. We do not have to stay in confusion. We can always ask for clarity and receive it in ways that we couldn't imagine. Engaging in melodramas, either your own or that of other people, that is a distraction to you, focusing on you and your purpose. Taking on problems and challenges that you have the ability to tackle, but which are not for you to do because they're not in alignment with your higher purpose. Yeah. Sometimes we just have to allow people and allow things to take their course without thinking we have to play superhero or savior. Because when it's your purpose, like it is for the young people who are called to protest daily, they're still out there. This is purpose for them. This is purpose. Or like the nurse I talked to yesterday when I stopped by my cafe to pick up lunch, and I saw she had on her nurse's gig, outfit, and I said to her, "Thank you so much for what you do, being on the front lines during this time." And her response to me was, "Thank you. This is what we do." Like, she was clear, like just clear, right? So that's the kind of purpose that I'm talking about. Another distraction is fear of failure. Yeah. So you may be feeling that heart pull toward your dream, but the first thing that jumps up is, what if I fail? And that's okay to think about, but please don't let it stop you from following your heart and soul and being on purpose. And then last but not least is procrastination again, and that is kind of related to that fear of failure, but it can be any excuse that we make up as to why I can't do it today. I can't do it right now. I can't do it this year. But don't let that stop you. Notice it and make up your mind. Commit to really getting the support that you need to move into purpose. Now, next Wednesday after that, we actually begin July. It'll be July 1st. And to the 6th, we're going to be in a water week. And that is going to be a time to release what can no longer support you in the new journey that we are all on. Yeah, good stuff. Now, a reminder, tomorrow, Monday, June 22nd, I have declared as Earth Day for June. And I would really, really encourage you to do consciously something that demonstrates your love for this beautiful planet Earth that we're living on. Whether it's hugging a tree or doing an earth ritual or nature ritual, and or saying prayers for the ending of humans' contribution to global warming. I was in a meeting yesterday with a woman who shared with me about her children who are probably like preteens, and how they were having conversation about global warming, and they were crying. They were crying. Like, they could just feel that this is not okay. And we were just so grateful to hear that, how the children can feel it, like the children are crying. So we need to listen to that. We need to pay attention to that and know that in our own way, no matter how small it may seem, we can make a contribution to turning this state of affairs regarding the earth around. So do your part. Again, I encourage you to go to the Earth Day website, www.earthday.org, today's action, and become more familiar with what they're suggesting and things that you can do and things that you can learn so that this planet will be habitable for those crying children and the 7 generations that come after us. Now, astrological stuff. I have been saying, probably I started at the end of May, that I was going to do a separate video about all the astrological happenings. And I still haven't gotten to it. And I think now for sure one of the reasons is because I'm supposed to kind of do a summation for you and to really kind of channel the big message about what is going on, along with some information to help you continue to navigate through these times. And so I think I had to just get through May and June and be in a position to share more information, have a deeper understanding about what is going on. I kind of get it some, but I realize that there's more for me to get. So I'm hoping that in July I will be able to produce some information for you that will be of service to you from June through to the end of the year, because this stuff will keep going on. So what is this stuff? Well, again, today On the 21st, we have this powerful double header, as I said, of the summer solstice, and that's the sun entering into Cancer in the northern hemisphere. And in the southern hemisphere, we get, of course, the winter solstice. This solstice, because it is coinciding with a solar eclipse, is considered really, really big stuff in the astrological field. And when you realize that this is such a rare occurrence for the solstice and a solar eclipse, and an annular solar eclipse, which means that there's going to be this, there was this beautiful ring of fire effect when the lining up of the earth and the moon and the sun was complete. And it was only visible in Central Africa, Northern Africa, and Asia, and definitely Central Africa. The Congo was mentioned. Also in the Himalayas in India was a really powerful point for this eclipse, to be able to see it. But what I think is fascinating is it started last night at 8:45 p.m. Pacific time, my time, and it lasted until 2:43 a.m. So it started off on the 20th here in North America, and then it completed on the 21st. So the portal of that eclipse was open for about a good 5 hours. Yeah, that's huge. That's pretty huge. Now the actual lining up, you know, it only takes it like seconds when it's actually on point. But they even said that this lining up, or the magnification they call it, was pretty powerful. And so this, again, is so rare. And the only other time this century that a solar eclipse will be at the same time as the solstice will be June 21st, 2039. Yeah. And then that'll be it, right? So this really, really rare event, one of my favorite astrologers, Astro Butterfly, she says that it happened in the North Node, and the nodes are points, astrological points, that is the lining up of how the moon's axis is in relation to the orbit around the Earth. And so anyway, the North Node, she says, it translates into this. Because it's in the North Node and it's in Cancer, it's an opportunity for us to rewrite the script of our destiny, especially as it relates to, quote unquote, home. Home, right? And that can be physical home, but that also means our inner home, you know, what it is we believe about ourselves. This is pretty powerful, folks. This is not a little thing. This is like energies have come through a portal over a 5-hour period onto this planet, targeting Africa and Asia, and then of course everybody else gets to benefit from that. And it's all about this, you know, focus on us home, you know, and shifting up our destiny, meaning to change up what is not working, what is not benefiting our well-being as human beings. Yeah. It's like what COVID came to do, is to point out where it is that we're out of balance. So, on Monday, tomorrow, we have another astrological event, which is Neptune goes retrograde, and it joins the 5 other planets that are retrograde right now that I told you about. So we're going to have 6 planets in retrograde, and the 2 personal planets, which they call Venus and Mercury, are both retrograde. So with Neptune joining, here's the message that Astro Butterfly says. She says, Neptune's message is it wants us to dissolve our ego so we can be at one with the source. Neptune's message is that separation is an illusion and that we are all one. Isn't that what COVID is screaming at us? Yeah. When Neptune is direct, she said, we look for experiences of oneness outside of ourselves. When Neptune is retrograde, we seek oneness within ourselves. Yes, yes. So, astrologically, we are being given messages about it's time to go in and really, really get clear about who you are, what your purpose is, to really understand that this great pause that has come about as a result of COVID, it's not only upending, this transference of pain onto Black Americans and Black people around the world, it's also illuminating and upending, where in our personal lives are we out of balance with the truth of who we are, and where are we devaluing ourselves and our lives? Where is it that we are, unconsciously going along with being fodder for somebody else's ill intentions? Yeah. Who are we really serving? And so Neptune is coming along to tell us, you need to be connected to source. The money cannot save you. Money is not your source. A bank is not your source. You need to really connect with your source. Yeah. So, from Monday the 22nd to Thursday, 6 planets retrograde, folks. That means it's time to just take it easy. Do not think this is a time to be running around and trying to figure things out and make decisions and come up with plans to recreate what can no longer happen. Yeah. This is time to be flexible, to be vulnerable, and to adapt to a new reality. Yeah. So, I encourage you to take good advantage of these next 4 days. When Venus comes out of retrograde on the 25th, there will still be 5 planets retrograde, but you'll get clarity and you'll get a feeling of, okay. You'll get a little more, okay, let me take another step forward into the new. Not going backwards, but into the new. Yeah. And just a reminder, we've got a big, another, what the astrologers call not nice conjunction coming up between Pluto and Jupiter on June 30th. So at the end of the month, we should be see some more shake-up, is basically how I say. And as we all know, or should know, that the COVID-19 virus is on the rise, especially here in the United States, but also Mexico, Brazil, and even in China. So we need to accept that and realize that we may have to shut down again in order to save people's lives. And that's really what this is about. Pandemic is a life and death situation. Yeah. So, tonight I am going to talk to you about this subtle transferred pain. Here's my overview. I'm going to review the cleanup of subtle transferred pain. And then we're going to hear me talking about understanding adult pain from work, home, and family relationships. And then, of course, I'm going to give you a personal awareness, opportunity, and challenge. My quote for tonight comes from a noted Chicago journalist who had a show on television even. His name was Sidney J. Harris. He lived from 1917 to 1986. And his quote is, "The 3 hardest tasks in the world are neither physical feats nor intellectual achievements, but moral acts to return love for hate, to include the excluded and to say, I was wrong. Yeah, yeah. Sounds like true maturity to me. Yeah. So cleaning up transferred pain, again, although forms of pain transferred onto you in childhood and adolescence and adulthood are damaging to your psyche, it's the subtle, non-physical ones that I believe create the thickest, meanest barriers to our happy endings in life. And that's because they're very easy to overlook. This includes repeated experiences of neglect, of invalidation, disappointment, emotional withdrawal, yelling and screaming, and even smothering. Yeah. And let's add some codependent behavior in on that as well, definitely. So to clean up subtle transferred pain, we have to do these first three things, and this is what I've been focusing on all month, rather than giving you, okay, here's how to transfer the pain, transform it, I mean. I'd rather you really understand that you have to do these three things first before you are really ready to take on the transformation work. And the first is you have to recognize it. You know, and you do that through unhealthy behaviors and patterns that you may think, oh, that's just my personality, that's just who I am, that's just my lot in life, this is what I have to put up with, you know, all of that. And you have to understand that, no, that is pain that was transferred onto you. Next, it has to be accepted, and that's a process, because that means you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to sit in it. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons, too, that we'll stay away from recognizing it, because who wants to have to feel it? But if you're going to transform it, if you're going to take on that process, that work, yes, you're going to have to feel it. And then thirdly, you have to make a commitment to learn how to transform the pain, no matter how long it takes. And sometimes it can take a long time, but it's worth it, because then it's done. You don't have to keep reliving it over and over again. Now, adult pain that I'm focusing on, the subtle pain, it gets transferred through your work, your home, and your family relationships and environment. Okay? So, any conflict that you have with someone you believe and or experience as an authority figure, for example, a manager, a supervisor, a governing body, a spouse, your parents, older siblings, etc. This is the continuation of pain that you're carrying from childhood and adolescence. We all experience an authority figure as children, whether that's a parent, or caretakers, or teachers, right? Unfortunately, most of them are operating out of a dead paradigm, a dead belief system, which defines leadership and authority as dominance versus caretaking. And dominance means, in this belief system, that I have the right to transfer my pain because I'm keeping you alive, or I'm taking care of your basic needs, or your educational needs, or your financial needs, on and on and on and on. Yeah. A very old paradigm. Okay? So, those conflicts, the work and home become primary settings for this drama-rama. Primary settings, yeah. And it's important that we become conscious of this so that we don't stay in a victim mode when the conflict occurs. Yeah. What we want to be able to say is, and recognize, oh, there's that pain again. There's that pain again. The subtle way pain is transferred in work, home, and family relationships is usually through control dramas. What's that? Well, we all have them, but today I'm going to focus on the ones transferred onto you. But we all do work these control dramas. But we're going to just focus on, okay, about how this was transferred onto me versus how you transferred it onto someone else. And control dramas are a response, an unhealthy response to feeling threatened, to being afraid of being in pain. And so it is a trigger response most of the time. In other words, a person doesn't realize this is what they're doing. I know when I was totally in my control drama in a work situation, I really wasn't conscious what I was doing. I was not conscious how invalidating I was being to people that were depending on me to really lift them up and to be a support to them. But I was young and hadn't taken on any of my work yet. But I know what that is like. Yeah. So here's control dramas, and I'm getting this information from the author James Redfield, who wrote the wonderful book, The Celestine Prophecy. And I got it from his website, which I'll show on the screen, and I'll also put it in the box below the video. It is www.celestinevision.com/control-dramas. Yeah. So Celestine Vision, all one word, .com. Yeah, and it's great stuff. So here's the first control drama. It's the poor me. Poor me. This is the most passive of all control dramas, he says. He says this style is designated to get the other person to feel sorry for them using this indifferent manipulation. This lures them in to connect or reconnect with them in sympathy, which shifts the energy of the jointly connected minds to their control. And we all know people like that. It's always something wrong with them, and they just be draining energy, sucking up energy around everybody. They always got something going on. So there's always a problem, There's just a victim to life. And again, they probably aren't aware or conscious that what they're doing is, it's a control piece. It really is, because you're pulling in all the attention and you're not considering other people. The second one is the aloof control drama. This is a less passive than the poor me control drama, yet it still tries to lure you into connection by acting distant and unreadable. And you know that when you talk to somebody and say, okay, you can feel something's wrong, but you say, so how you doing today? I'm fine. Everything's fine. And you're like, it don't sound like it's fine. Oh no, I'm fine. How are you? I'm good. And that is definitely a transference of pain, because they're not willing to, like I said, recognize, accept, right? And commit to transforming it. So they're just walking around with it. Okay. A more aggressive personality will use what's called the interrogator control drama. When you run into this style of manipulation because you suddenly feel criticized and begin to monitor your actions so that you feel less vulnerable. Usually, the person playing such a game has learned to put someone down, sometimes under the disguise of being helpful, to seize control of the relationship. Subtle criticizing forces the other person to lose confidence and begin to look at themselves through the eyes of the interrogator, and so giving them power and energy. And we all know that and probably have done that. You find this in very codependent and dysfunctional relationships between spouses. And it doesn't matter male or female, but this can be a dynamic that goes on. It's like nothing you do is ever good enough. They're always picking at you. Like, are you sure you want to wear that dress? is that really going to help? You know, instead of just coming out and saying, I think that you may want to reconsider, you know, what it is that you're wearing because of where we're going or something like that. And then be willing to hear the person say, no, I'm wearing what I'm wearing because this works for me. And if you don't want to be seen with me, you stay home, you know. But that ongoing kind of interrogation, you know, again, so that the person, if it's happening to you, you'll feel like, oh God, you know, you start walking on the eggshells in life. Yeah. Again, this also happens a lot in a job situation where you have worked on something, you follow direction, and you submit whatever, or you finish your job, and it gets picked apart. You know, it's like the annual reviews that are traditionally done to assess someone's behavior. It's like, why wait till the end of the year to sit somebody down and tell them that you're not doing enough? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But like I said, these are old paradigms that have to do with dominance as transferring pain. And then last but not least, the intimidator. This is the most aggressive, James Redfield says, of control drama, where the user tries to scare you into deferring to their control in the relationship. Thus, this is the most dangerous of manipulation devices, since some intimidators resort to violence to ensure that the game works. You know when you are relating to an intimidator when you sense an air of aggression in another's demeanor and attitude. This person has usually grown up in an environment where he or she could not gain energy in their early childhood in any other way. Yeah. We got some leaders in the world right now that fit this profile perfectly. Yeah. So, here's your contemplative exercises for this week to help uncover this adult pain. You know, when we're in a conflictual relationship at work, the first thing, of course, is that I want to keep my job, right? I want to be able to pay my rent, and I don't want to have to go looking for another job, you know. So you'll begin to go along with what's happening as if it is about you. And what control dramas are never about you. It's always about that other person and their insecurity, their vacant self-esteem, you know, their childhood drama that they haven't taken care of. And so what can happen is you start playing the game, but it doesn't work. And nothing you do makes any difference. That person will still treat you like you're doing something wrong, you're not enough, or, oh, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, or always be whining that poor me, you know. And so we take on trying to either change them, control them, or, you know, give away our power so that, you know, we can stay in the job. I'm hoping that this information really helps you rethink what is really going on and to understand what a control drama is about, what it looks like, tastes like, and sounds like, and choose not to participate in that. Yeah. And if that is about, I need to think about another job, I need to think about my role in this intimate relationship or in the family, or even in a relationship, an adult relationship you have with a parent. If that parent is still treating you like a child, something needs to shift. Conversation needs to be had. Yeah. And you can always get help with that. You don't have to do it on your own. So here's the contemplative exercises. Number 1, what was or is your most disturbing conflict with an authority figure or figures at work? Okay, the most disturbing conflict. What was or is? Name the control drama. Now remember, the was in that question is because you may have gone through this experience and didn't understand that this is what was going on. Yeah. Yeah. And you may still be carrying the pain that got transferred onto you by this control drama. Yeah. Number 2, what was or is your most disturbing conflict with authority figures at home and or in your family? That means that they may be people you don't live with, but there's that dynamic that goes on because maybe it's an older sibling, maybe it's a sibling who feels entitled, whatever. But, so it's either at home or in relationship. Name the control drama. Name the control drama. Is it poor me? Is it interrogator? What's happening? Now, is the control drama at work, number 3, the same as the one at home? If so, why do you think that is? They're both the same. If not, why not? Yeah, think about that. Number 4, what will it take for you to commit to cleaning up this transferred pain from a work situation? What will it take? And number 5, what will it take for you to commit to cleaning up this transferred pain at your home or within your family dynamics? Yeah. Again, this personal challenge will be listed in the box below this YouTube video. I'll also post it on my Facebook page. And if you haven't already subscribed to me, I would very much appreciate if you would, and hit the bell so that you can get all of my videos when they come out fresh. And thank you so much for even considering doing that. We've come to the end. I have so gone over time, but it was needed. I had a lot to get through. So I want to close by shouting out a great big thank you to my Black Hole Be Well family. They're celebrating Father's Day for Brother Forrest, but still found a way to make sure that I can be hooked up to do this broadcast. So happy Daddy's Day, Forrest. And again, Miss Yvette Parker, thank you so much for making sure that I do my work. I want to shout out to all my regular listeners, to Ms. Lynn. Hey, Lynn. And of course, to my number 1 fan, Miss Sarah, who at 95 years young continues to consciously heal the pain that was transferred onto her in her adulthood. And to all those who have wisdom walk with me, and you know who you are, to my family, my spiritual kin, my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine sisters and brothers around the world, and those listening in for the first time or watching for the first time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I could not do this without your listenership and support. Now, next week I will conclude my theme for June with cleaning up transferred pain from ancestral wounds. The book, it's The Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain. And it's available through Amazon and Barnes & Nobles or Walmart, and also available on Kindle and where other online booksellers are. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, my loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Have a healthy and safe Mineral Week coming up. Continue to wear your mask, even when you're walking sometimes. If there's a lot of people around, wear your mask. Practice social distancing and safe relating. Avoid perceived safety and embrace science safety. You'll be helping to save your life and the life of those who are most vulnerable to this disease. And last but not least, do remember, you are not disposable. You are divine. Good night now.